Hey, what's up everyone? Foxsounder N313 here. Alright, gonna give you guys my Nintendo Switch hands-on impressions. I've had the system for almost a week. It'll be a week at midnight tonight. And what I'm gonna do is a pro and con thing, so let's just get right into it. To start off with, the build quality is really solid. The design is, well, I'll just say it, it's sexy. It's the best looking Nintendo system I've ever seen. You've probably heard some people compare the Switch to other Nintendo consoles, and by comparison, previous Nintendo platforms kind of look toyish in comparison to like the Switch. And that's true. I mean, I've got my Switch sitting over next to my Wii U gamepad right now, and the Switch looks like something that would come out of Apple. It just looks that good. It's that sleek. Obviously, the system is very versatile. I've used it in every configuration, tabletop mode, both for single player and split screen multiplayer with fast RMX. It works great in both of those scenarios. I've used it in portable mode. I haven't taken it out of the dock too much because I've heard some reports of the dock scuffing the sides of the screen, and I want to avoid that. And so I get a screen protector put on it, and Amazon is taking a long time to get the thing shipped out to me. I guess that a lot of people ordered that particular set and they're on back order or something. But that is something to keep in mind. The 3DS had a similar issue where when you folded it up, the original 3DS, where when you folded it up, the borders of the bottom screen would scuff the top screen. Now with the Switch, from what I've seen, it only scuffs the borders of the screen, not the center or anything like that. So it doesn't scuff the part where there's things going on. It's the black borders on the edges. But even still. So yeah, the system is very versatile. The screen, again, is really nice. It's very crisp. It's one of the best screens Nintendo's ever had on any of their platforms. It's extremely detailed. The brightness level is really nice. Even on the lowest setting, which is what I keep it at, everything is very much visible, at least when you're indoors. I haven't taken it outside yet. Again, wanting to wait until I get a little bit of protection for the thing. Let's see here. The controllers are really solid. I was actually surprised at how comfortable they are. My preferred method is to use them in the Joy-Con grip that the system comes with. It's a little bit smaller than I expected, and originally when I took it out of the box I was like, this is maybe a little bit too small. But the more time I spent with it, it turned out it's really comfortable, at least for me. And I've got pretty large hands. I found the Wii U gamepad to be the most comfortable controller last generation because it gave me so much room to spread my fingers across. At the back, I get great circulation like that. Not that I have a circulation problem with my fingers, it's nice to have that extra space to stretch your hands out on or stretch your fingers out on. And when you play the Switch in portable mode, you get a very similar feel. Now the Switch is a lot thinner, so it does feel quite a bit different, but it still offers that space on the back to sort of stretch your fingers out. So let's see here. The UI is very simple to navigate. I think a lot of that has to do with there not being a lot going on right now, but I think even if you add in extra apps and stuff, it's not going to clutter it up all that much. It's similar to the PS4's layout, but I think it's even more simple than that. Everything you need is just right there on one screen. You don't have to go through multiple screens to get to what you need. A big plus for me and a lot of other people is the region-free aspect. I was able to create a Japanese account very easily on Nintendo's website. You don't have to worry about Japanese text when you're creating a Nintendo Japanese account. That would be an issue though when you get into like the eShop. But if you know where everything's at in terms of like purchasing, adding funds, and downloading demos on the American account, they're in the same place on the Japanese account, or the Japanese eShop, I should say. And so it's really easy to get to what you need. And Zelda is freaking awesome. I'm actually surprised at how much I like this game. I've said it before, Zelda is not my premier go-to Nintendo franchise. I've played most of the games, and I've enjoyed them to some extent or another. But I would never say they're like my favorite games of all time on a Nintendo system. But this one really changed that. This is a fantastic title. If you've never played a Zelda game before, this is the one to play. If you have played a Zelda game before and you weren't blown away by it, give this game a try. It's that good. It really is. The perfect review scores it's been getting. It's got the highest Metacritic score of any game out there. I can safely say that it's well deserved. Now let's move on to the cons. So right off the bat, you can't turn the system on or off with the Joy-Cons, which is an issue. That's a big step backwards from the past two Nintendo consoles. Even the Wii allowed you to turn the system on and off with the Wii mode. So I don't know why that's not there with the Switch. Hopefully it gets added with an update. I believe that it will. The system automatically turns itself on when docking, which is an issue because sometimes if you're playing in portable mode, or if you take it out and want to play in tabletop mode or whatever, and you stick it back in, you're just wanting to charge it. You're not wanting to necessarily switch over to the TV. So if you turn it off in portable mode and then you dock it, it turns itself back on. So you got to know to go into your TV, hold down the power button, scroll down to the power off option with your controller, and then turn it off. And that's a little bit annoying. As far as I could tell, there was no option to turn that feature off. Hopefully they add that with an update. Maybe I missed it. If I missed it, let me know in the comments, but I feel like I looked over the menu with a fine-tooth comb. I went through the power options and everything else. So another thing is the triggers. They went with digital triggers, which was very well known and established before the system came out. But I feel like they should have went with analog triggers. Now, the digital triggers are very functional. They work just fine and no problems with them. But having analog triggers offers developers more options. And in a racing game, it gives players more control because you're able to adjust the speed depending on how far down you're pressing on the trigger. With a digital trigger, it's either on or off. So you're either going full speed or you're going nowhere. So that, it's not a deal breaker by any means, but it would have been nice if they'd went back with the GameCube kind of triggers or something more in line with modern controllers. One other thing is the Joy-Cons won't charge when the system is off. So in order to charge the Joy-Cons, unless you have an external charger like the Joy-Con charging grip or a charging dock, the only way to charge them is by putting them into the Switch, docking them into the Switch system itself. But the system either has to be on or in sleep mode for it to charge. I was hoping that it would charge with the system off so that when you're at sleep at night, you could just dock them into the system and then by the next day they're fully charged. But sadly, the system has to be in sleep mode at the very least, and I'd rather not keep it in sleep mode that often unless I had to. One other issue right now is that you can't add friends with user IDs. You can't do that yet. Right now it's either friend codes, searching via like the internet or like via Twitter, however that works, and searching for local users or having friends through Miitomo. Even the Wii U had where you could search for users with their user IDs. So I don't know why the Switch doesn't have that there at the beginning. Again, I'm assuming that'll be added with an update. And of course, there's no multimedia services yet, which have been confirmed to be coming to the Switch sometime. Reggie Fils-Aimé confirmed this yesterday. And of course, no virtual console, but we also know that that's coming as well. But I only put these in here because, these are features that the last console had. You kind of expect at the very least for the new Nintendo system to have these same features. But it's hard to give Nintendo too much crap over that because, looking at the PS4, the system at the moment, and it's coming this year, but right now, it doesn't have the ability for you to like download images off the internet and use them as background, as like wallpapers for your PS4. The PS3 had that feature. As far as I know, there's no way to use Bluetooth headsets with the PS3 PS4, unless mine's just not compatible with it. But the headset I'm using worked with my PS3. The PS3 supported Bluetooth headsets. The PS4 doesn't seem to. Again, maybe I'm just using the wrong kind, but if it worked with a PS3, I don't know why it's not working with the PS4. So, Sony's guilty of some of the same stuff where they had features that worked on the PS3 and that don't on the PS4. But, looking at all the cons that I listed, it really reinforces the idea of a soft launch. And a lot of the stuff that I mentioned can be added with an update over time, I think, except for maybe charging the Joy-Cons with the system being off. I don't know if that's possible or not. But hopefully by the end of the year, they'll have added most of these features. Or, the Switch is doing really well in terms of sales. It's been breaking records on opening weekends or launch days across the world in New Zealand, Australia. In some places, it's breaking records for Nintendo launches. In other places, it's breaking records for game console launches in general, which is fantastic. For all those out there that didn't think that the Switch was going to do well, that kind of chuckled when the president of Nintendo said that He believes that it'll sell as well as the Wii. You know, it's on its way. If they can keep up the marketing, keep up the support, and do very well. Now, the ultimate question I'm sure a lot of you guys have out there is whether or not the Switch is worth buying right now. Because as good as Breath of the Wild is, you can get that on the Wii U. And if you already have a Wii U and you want to wait for other games to come to the Switch, that's perfectly understandable. It's really hard to recommend buying a Switch just for Breath of the Wild if you can already play it on your Wii U, because if you don't really care about the performance difference, then it doesn't really matter. But for people out there that don't have a Wii U and don't have a Switch yet and are wondering whether or not it's worth picking up right now, you know, despite its lack of features, I would say yes. Because, I mean, first off, you're not going to save a whole lot of money buying a Wii U in most places. I went to GameStop 2 days ago and I saw a secondhand Wii U setting up on their shelf, and it was $250. Well, for $50 more, you can get the Switch, and the Switch is almost guaranteed to have better support. It's at the very bare minimum, it's going to have the same kind of support that the 3DS had, which means it'll have strong first-party support and strong support from Japanese developers. But I think it's going to do even better than that, because given how well the system is doing in other regions, it's an opportunity for these third parties to expand into other regions. So yeah, I think you're better off going with the Switch right now if you really want to play Breath of the Wild. And again, I think it's definitely worth playing. So yeah, if you can find a Switch, you know, they're probably going to be hard to come by for a little while. Just keep checking in with your local retailers. But it's an awesome system. You know, the HD Rumble thing, which I forgot to mention, I got to experience a little bit of that in Fast RMX. It's fantastic. I don't know if that's the best use of it, but it kind of gives you an idea of what this technology can do. And I can't wait to see how developers utilize it in the future. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you guys have any questions about stuff specific to the hardware in terms of features, options in the menu, stuff that I forgot to mention. I'll try my best to answer them for you. And if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to us if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more content from dorks like us, gaming news, discussions, reviews, impressions, etc., etc. This is Foxhounder N313 signing off. God bless.